remind you now, he only weighed 144, so he was basically 10 pounds, basically under the weight. But he wiped it out.
A much smaller guy just because he's at the end of the road, but the fight's so big and the money's so big, he's gonna have to take it. I bet he retires after that fight.
To start playing catch up in rounds 4, 5, 6, believe me, by the 7th round, Canelo is going to be a little muscle fatigued, right? We've seen that.
Shannon Sharpe gave a strong warning to Canelo Alvarez about facing Terence Crawford, saying the fight could go very badly for Canelo. He pointed out Crawford's faster speed, better skill, and greater stamina, suggesting this could be more than just a loss. It might mark the end of Canelo's reign in boxing. Meanwhile, Canelo shared that he now has a retirement plan. After 20 years as a pro boxer, he admitted that sometimes he just wants to step away and try something new outside the ring.
Has retirement ever crossed your mind? Have you ever thought about that?
I always say like 37 is good time to go. It's not because I can't be in the boxing anymore, but you know, sometimes you need to do something else. So I'm being in October I turned 20 years as a professional fighter, so it's meant a lot of years.
Eddie Hearn, longtime promoter and close confidant of Canelo Alvarez, has stirred new talk by suggesting this upcoming fight with Terence Crawford could be Canelo's last. Hearn believes the Mexican star might be nearing the end of his legendary career, and the challenge from Crawford could be the final test that leads to retirement. This isn't just speculation. Hearn has been by Canelo's side through many stages and knows the physical and mental demands boxing has taken on him. After nearly 20 years in the ring, Canelo may be looking to close his career with this fight, facing one of the most skilled boxers of his generation.
Do you see that fight now differently based on how Canelo performed against Skull Eddie?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah? Oh, wow.
It wasn't just the fact that he couldn't cut the ring off. I just feel like the timing now, the age, Canelo is amazing. I mean, not just because of his ability and what he's accomplished, but the fact that he still has the desire for those training camps and those fights. But I just feel like that desire might be fading a little bit. Not because of his love, but just because of age and life. Do you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, like the Crawford fight will definitely get him up for it. But I was actually watching that fight thinking I wouldn't be surprised if he retired and actually didn't fight Crawford, because I don't think he'll want to lose to Crawford, a much smaller guy, just because he's at the end of the road. But the fight's so big and the money's so big, he's gonna have to take it. I bet he retires after that.
Canelo's recent fights against John Ryder and especially against Billy Joe Saunders raised concerns for Eddie Hearn. He noticed signs of aging, slower combinations, less sharp head movement, and a clear drop in punching power. The explosive force that once defined Canelo's prime seems to be fading. Meanwhile, Bernie, a close member of Crawford's team, showed strong confidence in Terence's ability to defeat Canelo. He didn't just call Crawford great, he called him a legend. What's even more surprising is how some Mexican fans, while still loyal to Canelo, are starting to support Crawford. This shift isn't just about loyalty, it's about recognizing skill, momentum, and hunger. Bernie said Crawford's performances have earned respect worldwide, and even Canelo's base knows how dangerous Crawford is. When admiration crosses national lines like this, it says a lot about the legacy Terence Crawford is creating.
Yeah. Now, the man said, now was both good. Say, not gonna beat me. He said, I'm telling you, I guarantee I'm gonna beat you. So you know what I'm saying? That's how Crawford is. That's how he feel. He believe in his heart. And you could tell it. You could look him in his eyes. You know what I mean? And a lot of people believe that Crawford gonna win this fight. And a lot of Mexican people.
Yeah, they supporting him. They supporting him.
A lot of Mexican people, you know. So they got their formula why Crawford gonna beat him. But it's a tremendous fight. I think Canelo, like I say, is a living legend. You know, everything that he do. A lot of people don't like him. A lot of Mexicans don't like him. But I love him. I think he's He does everything good in the ring. I think, you know, from swag to everything. I just love Canelo. I can't take it away from him. You know, he had them little allegations and everything.
Yeah.
And that's a damper on him, but I try not to focus on that. You know what I mean? I know he got in there with the baddest guys, the toughest guys, and he came through with flying colors. So I give him all the credit, going up there and fighting Bivol when nobody knew who Bivol really wasn't paying attention to him. That man was a 25-year-old champion, the reigning champion, title defense under his belt, and young and good. And Canelo fought him. So, you know what I'm saying? That was a challenge. You feel me? Had the height, had the reach, had a lot of, you know what I mean? So I give Canelo none but credit. I thank him for allowing us to get this fight. And you see what Crawford said. I didn't get to get, Canelo got to fight these guys with the names. I didn't necessarily get to fight all the guys with the names when I wanted to, but I got him.
Yes.
And that's the how it coming around full circle. And when God got it for you, nobody can be against you. And so I think he's the most deserving fighter of that outside of Benavidez. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Besides that, but Benavidez still doesn't bring the super fight dynamic to it.
Yes.
It's a really good fight with Benavidez, but this is a super fight.
Exactly.
We have legends fighting each other. David Benavidez has yet to become a legend. He's still growing in the sport.
Absolutely.
Crawford is a legend. 14 years in the sport, 10 years as champion, 11 years going on. You understand? Undisputed 2 different times, fighter of the year, all those different things. So, like I say, and the mystique of Crawford is legend in itself. The mystique of Crawford. So, I mean, so it's a super fight. Again, I thank Canelo Alvarez for taking the fight.
Former middleweight champion Kelly Pavick gave a straightforward and honest opinion about the fight. Going against popular belief, he said Crawford is actually the stronger and more effective fighter in the ring. Pavick praised Crawford's natural talent, smart control, and impressive physical strength. But his critique of Canelo was sharper. He feels that in recent fights, Canelo has played it safe, focusing more on avoiding loss than on dominating or knocking out opponents. Pavick believes this cautious style might not be enough against a hungry and aggressive fighter like Crawford. The difference Pavick points out is clear. One fighter is rising toward greatness, while the other is trying to hold onto what he has.
He's a great fighter. I mean, that's it. Crawford is so talented. He's got so much ability in boxing, his boxing ability. And he's a bigger guy too. He's almost every bit as big as Canelo, right? So that's what makes it tough. Like, yeah, Canelo's used to fighting guys coming down from 200 probably, at light heavyweight. And Crawford ain't. But it's just too hard to pick on that because of Crawford's ability and boxing skills. I'm not going off of Canelo's last fight. The guy he was fighting was in survival mode pretty much. He was just fighting not to get knocked out. When you fight a guy like that, you're not going to look good, right? I don't care what anybody says. When you fight a guy that's running around trying to survive, it makes it hard. So I don't go off of that, but this fight is going to be interesting. I mean, I would almost have to kind of lean with Canelo, but I'm not making that pick. Just saying, guys, so nobody come at me. I'm going to sit back and enjoy this one. I'm not worrying about anybody, saying, hi, you're wrong, or talking. But it'll be a good one.
Renowned trainer Robert Garcia added to the discussion, agreeing that Canelo has clearly moved away from his aggressive knockout style. Garcia said it simply, Canelo is tired. Having fought professionally since he was a teenager, Canelo has carried the heavy toll of boxing for nearly 20 years. The sharp precision and bold risks from his early days have shifted to a more careful approach, likely aimed at saving energy and avoiding damage. Garcia's comment isn't criticism, it's a recognition of the wear and tear Canelo has faced. He's been through battles, carried the sport on his shoulders, and now the cost is showing inside the ring.
That Shiraz was able to knock out Berlanga, but not Canelo.
Because Canelo doesn't go out for the knockout anymore. Canelo's just now, we've seen in the last few fights, he just does enough to win. He did the same again, Munguia. He dropped Munguia, but then they didn't want to finish him. Charlo, Berlanga. He wants to cruise through the fight. He's up there, and not in age because he's only like 33 or 34, but he's
fighting since 15.
15, a lot of training camps, a lot of sparring matches. So all that takes a lot out of your body. So he takes care of his body too. So he doesn't go all out because he doesn't want to just finish his body. He knows he still has a few more years and a few big fights where he wants to take care of himself. And not punish himself too much. That's why he hasn't been able to knock those guys out. Not because he can't. I think he just does enough to win. I think Shiraz also has great power, man. I think Shiraz has the power that that nobody believed.
Popular analyst Showbiz called the Crawford vs. Canelo fight potentially history-making. Defeating Canelo, one of boxing's biggest global stars, would boost Terence Crawford to legendary status. It's about more than just titles now, it's about legacy. But Showbiz also warned about the downside of greatness. If Crawford wins too easily, conspiracy theories could pop up. People might question how a smaller fighter could outshine someone like Canelo. In today's social media world, big victories often come with big doubts. For Crawford, this fight could be the high point of his career, and the start of a new battle off the ring with those narratives.
It's going to attempt to do something that is so incredible, so magnificent, so amazing as a fighter and for his legacy, in trying to beat Canelo Alvarez, the 168-pound undisputed champion. My fear is, if he does that, if he accomplishes that, if he is able to succeed in accomplishing such a magnificent goal, people will immediately discredit Terrence Bud Crawford and his victory, calling him a drug cheat.
Veteran sports commentator Stephen A. Smith, known for his honest opinions, made a clear prediction. He believes Terence Crawford will win this fight on points. According to Smith, Crawford's discipline, ring intelligence, and ability to control the pace could lead to a unanimous decision over the bigger but slower Canelo. Smith noted that while Canelo is still dangerous, his work rate has dropped in recent fights, and Crawford excels in longer matches that go the full 12 rounds. Winning by decision would not only prove Crawford is the best active fighter, but also place him among the greats of the modern era.
You got a love for boxing.
Yes,
Who gonna win the fight, man? That's coming up, the biggest
Crawford.
fight in boxing.
Crawford.
Huh?
Crawford. I'm not hesitating. Crawford. I'm not even hesitating. Crawford.
You gonna stand on that all the way to September 13th?
I love Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo by decision. I can't see anybody knocking out Canelo Alvarez. But I do believe that if you can box and you can move, that you can beat Canelo. You can outpoint him.
That's right.
When I think about Canelo, one of the things that I don't like about Canelo, despite his greatness, and a neck as wide as Broadway for crying out loud.
Right.
It's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yeah.
That's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, stronger fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's gonna go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight, and Crawford is not. And Canelo is a genius in this regard. You don't see him show up for fights not ready. He's always ready.
always prepared.
He's always ready.
gotta get
He's
him
always prepared. So I think he's the slower fighter, though. And I think that Crawford is brilliant as a boxer. And I think that between switching to conventional and southpaw, using his jab and movement, I think that Crawford is going to outpoint Canelo because he's faster. But he ain't, I don't think...
Terence Crawford confidently spoke before the fight, recognizing Canelo's size and pressure style. He's not shaken, just calmly ready for anything that comes his way. His mindset blends respect for Canelo with strong confidence in his own ability to adapt. This mix of humility and sharp focus is what makes him stand out.
I'm feeling good. You know, work has been going great. And, you know, fight time, we're going to be prepared to put on a great show for you guys.
Has this been in your mind? We've been talking about it forever. Did you feel like this was eventually going to be the case, that you and Canelo were going to eventually get in there?
Not at all. Not at all. I didn't, you know, think it was, you know, a fight that he wanted. So I didn't really know. But, you know, thanks to Turkey, Al-Sheikh, he made it possible. And, you know, we got one of the biggest fights in the last decade, you know, happening at Allegiant Stadium, September 13th.
When you get in there, what do you expect? Everyone's going to make, you know, a size difference, but what do you expect when you get in there with Canelo?
I'm expecting Canelo to be Canelo. You know, he's the bigger man. I expect him to, box a little bit, but I also expect him, to try to walk me down and be the bigger man. So, we expect everything in there.
Antonio, a member of Crawford's team, shared that Terence already has a clear game plan designed to exploit every weakness in Canelo's current form. He explained that Crawford is preparing both physically and strategically. He knows exactly when to change tactics, counter, and apply pressure. Antonio also gave credit to Canelo, saying he still has a chance, but only if he fights with the same urgency and explosiveness he showed against Caleb Plant. That aggressive, relentless Canelo would have a better shot. Anything less, and Crawford's plan could be too tough to beat.
Terrence got to be Terrence, bro. He's a real deep thinker. He processed fights like nobody else. And he's processed this Canelo fight. He's seen it. He went through it 2 or 3 times already. He knows how this ends. You can tell the way he shadow boxes. He visualizing Canelo being right there in front of him. You understand? Look at the movement. That's all you got to do. Look at the movement. And that's the type of master boxer that Canelo is going to be facing. And the only thing I say is Canelo hasn't faced an opponent like this in a long time. You know what I mean? I think Canelo's going to have to go back to the Caleb Plant fight and look that good, that active, that, you feel me, moving with that type of grace to beat Terrence Crawford. Because weight ain't going to make the difference. It ain't going to be the weight. It's going to be the skill set.
In a surprising turn, Canelo himself praised Crawford during an interview, ranking him above some of boxing's biggest legends. This kind of respect speaks volumes about how highly Canelo regards Crawford. Coming from someone who's faced Mayweather and worked with Oscar de la Hoya, it carries real weight. It's like Canelo doesn't see Crawford as just another opponent, but as a possible next great boxing star. His words also suggest he knows this fight will be unlike anything he's dealt with before.
The best fighter he has ever faced. He says that he believes that Terrence Bud Crawford is better than legendary Hall of Famer Bernard Hopkins, Oscar de la Hoya. There's no shot there. Tito Trinidad. But the shot came in where he said that he believes he is definitely better than Russian superstar undisputed light heavyweight world champion who beat Canelo Alvarez, I thought, pretty handily, 9 rounds to 3. I thought 10 rounds to 2, but 9 rounds to 3 at worst. He beat Canelo Alvarez in Dimitri Bivol. And then he said that, but this is not a shocker, he said this before, that Terrence Crawford is better than Floyd Mayweather. Now, I personally don't believe that. I believe that Floyd Mayweather is the better fighter. But nonetheless, Terrence Crawford is a great in his own right. But this just goes to show that Canelo Alvarez has learned something, a thing or two, from Floyd Mayweather. He showed some things he took from Floyd Mayweather from their fight, which he lost every single round to a 36-year-old going on 37-year-old Floyd Mayweather. In 2013, he lost every single round to Floyd Mayweather, right? Floyd Mayweather always build up his opponents. Always, okay? He always build up his opponents. He never tear down his opponents. He learned. If you tear down your opponent, how you get credit for your opponent? For the win.
The fight might come down to this. Terrence Crawford has to stay true to himself, smooth, smart, and fierce when needed. His natural style has broken down every opponent so far. But for Canelo to have a chance, he must show toughness and calm like never before. He needs to handle Crawford's precise, painful shots without losing focus. If Canelo can push through the pressure and keep coming forward, it could work in his favor. But if he slows, gets frustrated, or struggles with Crawford's tricky angles, the fight could slip away fast. It's a battle of will, style, and endurance.
If he's able to be aggressive, not be affected by Bud's punches, and just keep, attacking and imposing that will on him, and then Bud being a dog that he is, and just saying, you know what, I'm gonna go, I'm letting loose. I think that can change the effect on Bud, and I think that will be the way that Alvarez can win that fight.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so what do you think? Obviously, if Bud remains slick, what outside of that could cause Canelo to lose?
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.